The neon lights of the Crimson Moon Bar flickered against the rain-soaked streets as Cristiano pushed through the heavy wooden door. He wasn't looking for trouble, he never was, but trouble had a peculiar way of finding him. Tonight was no different. The bar reeked of stale beer and cigarette smoke, a haven for the city's nocturnal misfits. Cristiano made his way to the counter, his leather jacket dripping water onto the grimy floor. He'd come here to forget, to drown the memories of another failed job interview in cheap whiskey. Whiskey. Neat, he muttered to the bartender, a grizzled man with more scars than teeth. As he waited, a commotion erupted near the pool table. Two burly men were surrounding a young woman, their voices aggressive, their intentions clear. The woman stood her ground, her posture defiant despite being outnumbered. She was striking porcelain skin that seemed to glow in the dim light, raven black hair cascading down her shoulders, and eyes that burned with an unusual crimson hue. "Come on, sweetheart," one of the men slurred, reaching for her arm. "Just one dance." "I said no," the woman replied, her voice cold and sharp as a winter's blade. Cristiano sighed. He'd seen this scenario play out 100 times, and it never ended well. Against his better judgment, he stood and approached the trio. The lady said no. Cristiano said calmly, positioning himself between the woman and her harassers. The larger of the two men, a mountain of muscle with a neck like a tree trunk, turned his attention to Cristiano. "This ain't your business, pretty boy. It is now." What happened next was a blur. The man swung first, haymaker that would have knocked out a normal person. Cristiano ducked, his instincts honed from years of street fights, and countered with a swift uppercut. His fist connected with something hard and unexpected. A sharp crack echoed through the bar, followed by an unearthly hiss. Cristiano stumbled back, confused. The woman Jenny, he would later learn, was clutching her mouth, her eyes wide with shock and fury. When she pulled her hand away, Cristiano saw blood trickling from her lips. "Yes. You broke my Fang," she hissed, her voice a mixture of disbelief and rage. Cristiano blinked. "Your what?" Before he could process the absurdity of her statement, Jenny moved with inhuman speed. She grabbed him by the collar, her grip impossibly strong, and dragged him toward the back exit. The two harassers scrambled away, suddenly terrified of the woman they'd been harassing moments before. "Wait, what are you?" Cristiano's protests were cut short as Jenny kicked open the door and pulled him into the rainy night. She didn't stop until they reached a cabin on the outskirts of town, a Gothic structure hidden among ancient trees. With supernatural strength, she threw Cristiano inside and slammed the door behind them. The interior was surprisingly elegant Victorian furniture, velvet curtains, and candles that lit themselves as they entered. Cristiano backed against the wall, his mind racing to make sense of what was happening. Jenny stood before him, her eyes glowing with that eerie crimson light. She bared her teeth, revealing a broken fang on the left side, the jagged edge still dripping with blood. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" she demanded, her voice trembling with anger. "I'm a vampire princess, you fool. This fang has been part of me for 3 centuries. Cristiano's jaw dropped. "A vampire? You've got to be kidding me. Do I look like I'm joking?" Jenny gestured to her broken fang. "These don't just grow back overnight. And you, a mere mortal, managed to break one in a bar fight." Cristiano ran a hand through his wet hair, trying to process this information. Vampires, real vampires. The woman he'd tried to help was apparently royalty among bloodsuckers. "Look, I was just trying to help," help. Jenny laughed bitterly. You've ruined me. I have a royal ceremony in 3 days. How am I supposed to appear before the vampire council looking like this? She gestured frantically at her mouth. Cristiano noticed that despite her fury, Jenny seemed more panicked than murderous. An idea formed in his mind. Okay, he said, raising his hands in a placating gesture. There has to be a way to fix this, right? Some vampire magic, or, I don't know, a supernatural dentist. Jenny's anger seemed to deflate slightly. She sank into a velvet armchair, looking utterly defeated. There is one way, an ancient ritual that requires a human's willing cooperation. Cristiano felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of ritual? Nothing sinister, Jenny assured him, though her expression remained grim. But it's complicated, and it will take 3 days. You'd have to stay here with me until the ceremony. Cristiano considered his options. He could run, try to escape, but something told him that a vampire princess could track him down anywhere. Besides, despite the absurdity of the situation, he felt responsible. He had broken her Fang, after all. All right, he said finally. I'll help, but you have to promise, no biting, no turning me into a vampire, nothing weird. Jenny's lips curved into a slight smile, careful not to reveal her broken Fang. Deal. And so began 3 of the strangest days of Cristiano's life. Trapped in a cabin with a vampire princess who alternated between fury and surprising vulnerability, as they worked together to repair what a single bar fight punch had broken.